Hello, friends. Have you ever wondered why some people take big risks while others get scared even by small things? Why do some people make big decisions in life without hesitation, while others think 1,000 times before taking a step? Is risk-taking an inbuilt talent that only a few people have, or can it be learned? Risk is a part of our lives whether we like it or not. But the question is, what is the right way to take risks? Does it only depend on luck, or is there a scientific logic behind it? If we learn this art, can we also make the biggest decisions of our lives without fear? Today, we're going to talk about a book that reveals the science behind risk-taking, The Art of Risk. This is not just a book, but a mindset that teaches us how to control fear, take calculated risks, and achieve extraordinary success. Risk-taking is not just for daredevils or adventure seekers. It is a skill that anyone can develop. Whether you are in business looking for career growth or want to make bold decisions in your personal life, taking risks is necessary. But there is a big difference between taking the right risk and taking a meaningless one. This book explains what system in our brain decides whether we will accept a risk or back away from it in fear. Is there a way to train our minds so that we can take the right risks at the right time? Do our past experiences, thinking patterns, and personality affect whether we become risk takers or not? The biggest lesson of the book is that fear is always the biggest obstacle to risk taking. But the truth is, successful risk takers are not those who feel no fear, but those who learn to manage their fear. That means risk taking is not about blindly jumping into something without thinking. It's about understanding your fear, clarifying your goals, and then creating a smart strategy to handle that risk. So if you also want to become a bold and confident person in life, if you want to be among those people who follow their biggest dreams without fear, then this video is for you. In this video, we will decode the most powerful strategies from the art of risk, which will teach you how to develop the right balance of risk-taking and control fear to achieve success. So let's not waste any more time and begin this exciting journey to learn the real art of taking risks. Chapter 1. Your Brain on Risk. Have you ever wondered why some people are not afraid to jump off a high cliff, ride a bike at full speed, or invest millions in their business while others hesitate even in small matters of risk-taking? Why does this happen? Does it depend only on our personality, or is there some scientific logic behind it? This chapter reveals a surprising fact. Risk-taking does not depend only on luck or courage. It is a deep-wired biological process that is constantly running inside our brain. Whenever we face a risky situation, our brain starts making quick calculations. Is it safe to take this risk? Will the results be positive? Can we handle failure? And then our body reacts according to that calculation. But the interesting thing is that not everyone's brain processes risk in the same way. Some people are naturally more risk-taking while others are more cautious. But why is this? The roots of this lie deep inside our brain. Whenever we face a risk, our brain makes decisions based on three major systems: amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and dopamine system. The amygdala acts as an alarm in our brain. Whenever we see a big risk, it sends an alert signal. Stop, this could be dangerous. That's why when someone stands at a height and looks down, or when someone feels the fear of failure before starting a new business, it is the amygdala at work. But the story doesn't end here. The prefrontal cortex logically analyzes the risk. It compares our past experiences, our goals, and the possible rewards of taking the risk. If the prefrontal cortex decides that the risk is worth taking, it allows us to move forward. And then comes the dopamine system. Dopamine, which we also call the feel-good chemical, is the part of our brain that gives us a feeling of thrill and excitement. When we take a risk and succeed, our dopamine system sends us a strong reward signal. Yes, that was fun. Let's try again. This is why some people don't hesitate to take risks, but actually seek out the thrill of it again and again. But at the same time, the dopamine system can sometimes push us into making bad decisions. When a person shows extreme risk-taking behaviors like gambling, high-speed racing, or making unnecessarily dangerous decisions, it could be due to an overactive dopamine system. Some people are naturally more dopamine sensitive, which is why they repeatedly take high-risk decisions even when there's a strong chance of failure. Now the question arises, can risk-taking be controlled? Can we train our brain in such a way that we take the right risks at the right time while avoiding unnecessary ones? The answer is yes. If we understand these three brain systems properly, we can manage our fear, improve our logical thinking, and control our dopamine system in the right way. This chapter delivers a powerful message. Risk-taking is not just some random talent. It is a biological and psychological process that we can understand and master. Smart risk-takers create a perfect balance between their instincts, experience, and logical thinking. They neither take risks recklessly, nor miss opportunities out of fear. So, next time you stand in front of a big decision, ask yourself, is this my amygdala trying to stop me? Is my prefrontal cortex analyzing this risk correctly? Is my dopamine system leading me toward the right reward? If you understand this formula, you can handle any risk wisely and achieve major goals in your life. Risk is an art, and mastering it is possible. You just need to understand how your brain works. Chapter 2. The Myth of Fearlessness. Have you ever seen people who don't hesitate to jump from heights, who race their bikes at full speed, or who invest millions in new business ideas without fear? We assume these people are fearless, that they simply don't experience fear at all. But is that really true? Are some people born without fear, or is this just a myth? This chapter breaks down one of the biggest misconceptions. There is no such thing as fearlessness. The reality is that every person feels fear no matter how brave they seem. The only difference is that some people learn how to manage their fear while others give in to it. Whenever we find ourselves in a risky situation, our brain instantly switches to alert mode. We feel an unknown anxiety. Our heartbeat speeds up, our palms get sweaty, and our mind says, "Stop, this could be dangerous." This is our amygdala putting us into survival mode. This system has existed within us for millions of years, protecting us from all kinds of threats. But in today's world, danger isn't just about wild animals in the jungle. Risks exist in career decisions, public speaking, investments, and relationships too. Yet when we face these modern risks, our brain still reacts the same way it would to a life-threatening danger. So, if fear is natural, how do the world's greatest risk-takers make such big decisions? Do they not feel fear? The truth is, real risk-takers are those who move forward despite their fear. They don't ignore fear. They understand it, accept it, and turn it into their strength. This is the real mindset shift, the biggest difference between an ordinary person and an extraordinary one. A professional skydiver feels fear before jumping from thousands of feet in the air. An entrepreneur launching their first startup fears failure. But the difference is, they don't let fear control them. They understand that fear is just a signal. It tells us that we are stepping out of our comfort zone. And true growth happens only when we step beyond our comfort zone. When we fully understand fear, we can use it to our advantage. Fear makes us more alert, forces us to think critically, and helps us prepare better. The right amount of fear actually improves our performance. But if fear grows too strong, it paralyzes us, stops us from making decisions, and traps us in a limiting box. That's why the most important thing is not to suppress fear, but to learn how to manage it. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of fear?" we should ask, "How can I move forward despite fear?" The world's greatest leaders, athletes, and artists don't eliminate fear. They make it their ally. So next time you feel nervous before a risky decision, don't see it as a weakness. It's a signal that you are pushing your limits. Feeling fear isn't wrong, but missing an opportunity because of it can be the biggest mistake. Fearlessness is a myth, but fear management is an art. And that is the biggest lesson of this chapter. If you master this art, no fear can stop you from reaching your dream life. Chapter 3. The Risk Ladder. Have you ever wondered why, in the same situation, some people move forward without hesitation while others step back in fear? Imagine two friends standing on a high cliff. One is ready to jump immediately while the other feels uncomfortable and backs away. Or picture two entrepreneurs. One confidently invests in a new idea, while the other panics about losing money. Why does this happen? Every person has a different risk-taking level. It's not a fixed trait. Rather, it works like a ladder. Every time we take a risk and succeed, our brain prepares itself for the next bigger risk. But if we constantly avoid risks, our confidence starts to shrink. And slowly we start feeling fear even in small decisions. Imagine a child trying to ride a bicycle for the first time. At first he wobbles, falls, but gradually learns to balance. When he manages to ride a little distance without falling, his confidence increases. Then he tries to ride faster, and within a few days he starts riding all around the street without fear. This is the risk ladder. By taking small risks, we prepare for bigger risks. But if that child gives up cycling in the beginning just because he's afraid of falling, he will never learn. Now apply this to real life. Suppose you have a fear of public speaking. If you think that one day you will suddenly be able to speak in front of thousands of people without nervousness, it will seem impossible. But if you take small steps, first speaking in front of friends, then in a small group, then in a meeting, gradually your confidence will grow and you will overcome your fear. The world's biggest risk takers have also climbed this ladder to reach great heights. No one becomes an extreme risk taker in a single day. Every big decision, every big adventure, every great success starts with small risks. This is why some people handle high-risk situations with ease, because they have gradually developed their risk-taking ability. The biggest lesson from this chapter is that if you are afraid of taking risks in life, you don't need to take a huge risk all at once. You just need to take one step up your risk ladder. Accept small challenges, step out of your comfort zone, and slowly leave your fear behind. Because if you always stay in the safe zone, your life will never change. But if you gradually build your risk-taking ability, you can achieve what seems impossible today. Risk is like a ladder. Small steps can take you to great heights. The question is, are you ready to take the first step on this ladder? Chapter 4. Training for risk. Is risk-taking a talent that some people are born with, or is it a skill that can be learned and developed? This question is important because whenever we see a risk-taker, whether it's a high-stakes entrepreneur, we assume they have some superpower that allows them to make big decisions without fear. But the truth is different. Risk-taking is not magic. It's a skill that you can learn with the right training. When we talk about taking risks, it's not just about luck or natural boldness. It depends on how well we have prepared ourselves for that situation. In other words, risk-taking is not a coin toss. It is a calculated process that you can improve by training your mind and body. Now think about it. When a firefighter enters a burning building, does he just jump in without thinking? No, he understands how fire spreads. He knows where to go and how to minimize danger. He has trained for this. He has practiced through drills again and again, so his mind is ready to make the right decision at the right time. This is training for risk, preparing your mind and body so that when a high-stakes situation arises, you can make the right decision without panic. If you want to invest in a new business, would you put in millions without research? Absolutely not. First, you study the market, analyze data, talk to experts, and then take a calculated risk. This is the real formula for risk-taking. The right preparation, the right knowledge, and the right execution. How to improve risk-taking. The most important factor in improving risk-taking is exposure. If you fear something, you must put yourself in that situation repeatedly until your mind starts considering it normal. For example, when a Navy SEAL first trains to hold his breath underwater, he panics. But after repeated training, his mind starts treating the situation as normal, and he can complete his mission without fear. This concept applies to all kinds of risk-taking. The second most important factor is simulation. You can practice before taking a real risk. Pilots practice in flight simulators before flying thousands of feet above the ground. Doctors train with virtual reality before performing real surgeries. Athletes test and improve their performance repeatedly. When your brain has already experienced a situation multiple times, the fear of real risk is significantly reduced. Now the question is, can anyone train themselves to be a smart risk taker? Author Kayt Sukel believes that the answer is yes, absolutely. If you train yourself correctly and expose yourself to challenges in a controlled way, you can step out of your comfort zone and make better decisions. Every big risk taker first prepares themselves with small steps. And that is the biggest secret. The key lesson from this chapter is that risk-taking is not a magical power. It is a learnable skill. If you train yourself correctly, develop the right mindset, and gradually expose yourself to challenges, You can also become one of those people who take big risks smartly and achieve massive success in life. Now the question is, are you ready to train yourself for your next risk? Chapter 5. The Power of Intuition. Have you ever felt that before making a big decision, a voice inside you said, "This is right, do it"? Or have you ever sensed that something is wrong in a situation and felt the urge to step away? This inner voice, which we often call the sixth sense or gut feeling, is intuition. And do you know that the world's biggest risk takers rely the most on their intuition when making decisions? Intuition is not magic or mystery. It is a powerful decision-making tool that our mind possesses, but often ignores. It allows us to sense things that our conscious mind cannot immediately understand. When an experienced doctor diagnoses a patient without any test, when an investor predicts a company's success without analyzing too much data, or when a soldier senses danger before it appears, this is all due to intuition. How does intuition work? Whenever we experience something new, our brain stores that experience. These stored experiences and patterns keep accumulating in our subconscious mind. When we face a risky situation, our brain rapidly scans through these past experiences and sends us a signal. This is right, or this is wrong. This is intuition. To understand it better, take a simple example. Imagine you are traveling in a new city and see two roads ahead. One is well lit and clean, while the other is dark and deserted. Without much thought, you will feel that the first road is safer. Why? Because your brain has combined your past experiences and childhood stories to create a pattern that dark and lonely streets can be dangerous. This is intuition. Intuition in risk-taking. When a professional poker player senses an opponent's cards without seeing them, when a stock market trader accurately predicts a company's rise or fall, or when an athlete makes the perfect move without thinking. This all happens because of their years of experience developing strong intuition. The more experience you gain in a field, the sharper your intuition becomes. But an interesting thing is that intuition is not always right. Sometimes, due to past experiences, our brain creates wrong patterns and we can make incorrect decisions. That is why Kayt Sukel explains that two things are necessary to sharpen intuition. First, gaining as much experience as possible. And second, cross-checking your intuition with data and logic. This means that you should not blindly trust only intuition, but rather balance it with logical thinking. The biggest advantage of intuition in risk-taking is that it helps us make quick decisions when we do not have much time to think. When we need to take immediate action, our conscious mind cannot process fast enough, but our intuitive mind is already prepared. That is why experienced people make faster and better decisions, because their intuition is already sharp. The biggest lesson of this chapter is that intuition can work like a superpower, but it needs to be developed. The more you expose yourself to new experiences, the more you learn from past mistakes, the better your intuitive power will become. And when your intuition becomes strong, you will be able to make quick and correct decisions in any risky situation. So the question is, are you ready to unlock the power of your intuition? Chapter 6. The risk-taking personality. Have you ever wondered why some people are always ready to take risks in any situation while others avoid even the slightest risk? Some people do not fear jumping from heights, riding a bike at high speed, or investing millions in a new business. Meanwhile, some people overthink even the smallest things. Why does this happen? Is risk-taking a habit? A skill that can be learned? Or is it simply part of one's personality? Risk-taking is not a one-size-fits-all behavior. It is a part of our personality. That means every person has a different level of risk-taking ability, and this depends largely on how our brain is wired. When we talk about risk-taking, it is not just a choice. It is connected to our biology, psychology, and past experiences. Some people have a very active dopamine system in their brains, which pulls them toward thrill and excitement. This is why some people are more interested in adventure sports, gambling, and high-stakes business. Their brain constantly drives them to seek novelty. Meanwhile, some people's brains are naturally more cautious, urging them to analyze every risk and stay safe. Risk-taking personality can be divided into three categories. 1. High-risk takers. those who get excited about any new challenge. They always need something new and are comfortable accepting uncertainties. 2. Moderate risk takers, those who take calculated risks. They make well thought out decisions but do not hesitate to take big steps when needed. 3. Low risk takers, those who prioritize stability. They always want to stay safe and avoid uncertainties. Now the question arises, can the risk-taking personality be changed? Kayt Sukel says, yes, it is possible. Risk-taking is not a fixed trait. It is influenced by our habits, environment, and experiences. If someone is a low-risk taker, they can gradually increase their risk-taking ability. When we expose ourselves to small, risky situations and handle them successfully, our brain starts perceiving risk-taking as normal. Similarly, high-risk takers need to learn when and how much risk to take to avoid unnecessary losses. The biggest advantage of understanding risk-taking personality is that you can recognize your strengths and weaknesses. If you are naturally risk-averse, you can step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. And if you take too many risks, you can control yourself and make more calculated and thoughtful decisions. The biggest lesson of this chapter is that risk-taking personality is not permanent. If you want, you can change your mindset, expand your comfort zone, and balance your decisions. True success comes to those who understand their nature and work to improve themselves. So the question is, are you ready to understand and enhance your risk-taking ability? Conclusion. Risk. A word that excites some people and scares others. But risk-taking is not a random act. It is a skill that can be learned. It is connected to the hard wiring of our brain, our experiences, and our personality. In this book, we have learned how our brain processes risk, how fear can be managed, and how small, calculated risks can lead to great success. The art of risk teaches us that anyone can become a smart risk taker if they adopt the right mindset and training. The world's greatest entrepreneurs developed their risk-taking skills, stepped out of their comfort zones, and made big decisions. They not only overcame their fears, but also saw risk as an opportunity. The biggest lesson of this book is that risk-taking is not a coin toss. It is an art. The more you understand and practice it, the bolder and more meaningful decisions you will make in life. Whether you want to advance in your career, start a new business, or take a big step in any area of your life, it is essential to understand and embrace risk rather than running from it. If you like this book and learned something new from it, try applying it in your life. Risk-taking is the bridge that takes you from an ordinary life to extraordinary success. So the next time you face a big decision, ask yourself, is this risk worth taking? And if yes, how can I take it smartly? If you like this video, don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe to Next Level Book and hit the bell icon so you continue receiving more powerful book summaries like this. Tell us in the comments, how did you find this book? And which book summary would you like to see next? See you in the next video.